Hey everybody, Nerd Transformed here again. Sorry I've been gone a while. I forgot my camera at home, so finally got it back. And I figured I'd start my reviews off again with Titan's Return, Voyager class, Sentinel Prime, with Infinitus. Which, let's start with his little Titan Master here, as they're calling him. Basically a Headmaster, but they're calling him Titan Masters. You can see, pretty simple in detail. Detail's actually not that bad because he does have like some of these piping details on his arms, and lighting is kind of blurring everything out. There we go. Pretty simple in details, but decent amount. Not much paint. The only paint he really has is the face, where he has a red dab for his face. Nothing for the eyes, just on the face only. But it is better than the Galvatron Titan Master, who just has two red dabs for his eyes. You know, at least we do get some color variation on him here. The articulation of the little guy is pretty simple. He does have a swivel at the head. The arms, while they are ball jointed because of how they're sculpted, only go up and down, and they can only go up this far. But you can move the arms around. The legs do move at the hips and at the knees, but they are stuck together, and my legs are extremely loose. Let's see, can the little guy stand? Yeah, he can stand, but will not take much to knock him over. And of course, you can also take one of Sentinel Prime's guns here, put his arms forward, and he can actually sit in it and look like he's driving it, I guess. And you can take his other gun and peg it in and make it look like he's operating the gun, maybe. So each of the Titan's Return figures do have this kind of playability with their little guys. Strangely enough, there's no pegs or anything on Sentinel Prime himself for him to stand on. But you can make this like little mini ship with him, so that's always fun. Let's look at Sentinel Prime himself. This is his train mode, which I consider the weaker of his two vehicle modes. And yeah, he has two vehicle modes. Every Voyager class seems to have two alternate modes. So, and yeah, he transforms to a spaceship and a train, so he's being remolded into Astro Train. We kind of figured from the beginning. It's Hasbro's usual thing of releasing the remold first for some reason. But you can see his main colors are orange, red, and yellow, with a little bit of gray and silver sprinkled in there. And it looks pretty nice. It kind of looks like that Sentai mech, the one that transforms into a train, because that one also splits up like this. Somebody's motorcycle's really loud. The front is pretty nice looking. It does clearly look like a train. You can even see a tiny little ladder going up. And you can see little doors, implying this is a very, very big train. He also has these little turrets on the top for shooting out on Decepticons. You know, gotta defend himself somehow. The only strange part is this bit here, where it's like basically the leftover wings from the spaceship mode, just kind of folded up into some kind of control tower. And yeah, those panels do pop open really easily. These panels that cover up the legs, they do not hold well at all in this mode. They pop open and pop up all the time. This yellow part does pop open for a cockpit kind of thing, in which you can take Infinitus here, and you can actually have his arms down, just sit him right in there, fold this down, and you can actually have him piloting the train. And the nice thing is, this is the same cockpit for the spaceship too, so you don't even have to move him when you transform him. But yeah, he's a pretty cool little train mode. It's nice and long, it looks neat. Not the best mode, and like I said, all these panels are really flimsy. Like this one's bent out of the box. You can see how bent that is, where it's just kind of sticking off the train. Granted, the R3 are okay, but I'm not sure why they're like that. Just gotta be careful. So, for transforming them, you're going to fold up these panels here. Come over to here and fold these panels up. Go ahead and pop the top of the train from the bottom layer. And that does hold together really well. Come over here, open this panel up, flip these around. You're going to flip away the train heads, or the fronts of the train, front and back of the train. Bring these pieces together. They do actually tap in together at the top there. And then come down here and just squeeze it together. It may may have a little bit of trouble going all together, but you will get it to stay. Come over here and bring these down like you're forming the robot mode. This comes up and lays flat onto his back, or what will be the back of the robot mode. Then the wings kind of fold in and collapse under these panels, which gives it a nice solid look, and then they tap into the arms to hold those in place. Or what will be the robot arms. Oop. And I hit a button. Last, you're going to pull out the landing gear. And there is his spaceship mode. Which, for a size comparison, here he is next to Galvatron, and as well as Wheelie. So, pretty nicely shaped, pretty nice size spaceship here. And it's pretty good looking too. It's a really nice looking spaceship. Like I said, train mode was a little weak, but the spaceship mode does make up for it a lot. It's got a lot more of a solid look, with the wings fitting in perfectly with the red panels here, giving a much more solid look. And it kind of puts all the orange in one spot and puts all the gray in one spot, so it doesn't break up the colors as much, but it does make it look more solid. Even the train wheels kind of make this kind of like engine combustion look. And like I mentioned, Infinitus can stay in the cockpit. He also has his weapons, which I forgot to show us in his train mode, but they can peg in up here. There are pegs all over the place. You can peg them in here, here, back here are 2 pegs. On the tips of the wings there's 2 pegs. And on the sides here with the yellow, there are 2 peg holes. For the spaceship mode, I personally prefer just peg them in right there. And it gives them this really well-armed, gun mode, or shooting mode, especially with the turrets as well. This is a very well-armed spaceship. So let's give them the robot mode. Gonna come to the bottom, put all the landing gear away, and I like to do the spaceship mode into the robot mode because it's basically already almost there. So what you want to do is kind of flatten out the wings and peg them from the arms, and just kind of fold them back to where they were before, straighten all the gray and the red out. Everything's one to come apart, but that does release his arms. These panels do finally fold down. You might have to get the backpack out of the way. To reveal his legs, this splits apart. Turn the yellow parts forward. Fold these down. Now, the official pictures did originally show the train as the foot, but it doesn't quite fit and keep an even stance. So it's usually best just to use the spaceship bits for his foot. Come in here, his hands are inside. They just simply flip out and peg in to stay. Tab in. Last but not least, you can come back here, get out Infinitus. He has a pretty simple transformation. You're just simply folding his legs up in front of him like this. Now, all the instructions show to have like the heads facing in different directions. The smaller head facing backwards when you put it in for almost all these guys, but it doesn't fit well, especially on Galvatron. So I always turn the face forward. I know a lot of people are saying that's going to be the wrong way to do it, but it just simply fits better for me. And usually gives a much tighter, much better fit. And it's held, and usually better articulation for the head. And last but not least, you're going to hit the little trigger on his stomach to pop up these tower doolollies for his head. And there you have your Titans Return Sentinel Prime in robot mode. For size comparisons, here he is next to Titans Return Galvatron, who's pretty much the same height but a bit bulkier, at least in the chest and like in the upper chest area. Let's see if we can give a stand straight. There we go. And we also have Wheelie down here. And just also get Deluxe in here. Let's get Combiner Wars Off-Road. So there's your good idea of how big he is. Alright, let's get everybody out of here. Now I do think, for these things, each of the Voyagers also have like a head gimmick to make the head a bit bigger. Like Galvatron has his Halloween mask, and These would make perfect sense for Astro Train, because he does have these little pillars next to his head in the G1 show. But for Sentinel Prime, it just looks a little goofy. It looks goofy on Astro Train too, but at least it makes sense for his character design. So for Sentinel Prime, I usually prefer just to have him down. But for the sake of review, we're going to leave him up. And you can see this is a pretty nice looking figure too. A lot of detail, not a lot of enough paint to kind of break everything up. Even the hands are, I think the hands are even painted. They just kind of look painted. They don't look like plastic really, but I could be wrong. They don't match. I don't think they match any other plastic on the figure. Yeah, the backpack pops up a little easily. Doesn't really clip into his back or anything. Which you can also do a backpack like this with the give him a bit more room on the arms and just collapse his wings back a bit more. But I do prefer him kind of spread out and to minimize the backpack sticking out. So, there's a lot of back and forth about this figure because, yeah, his crotch is not pegged together quite right. Let's see if we can fix that. Come on. Nope, it's always gonna have a little bit of a split on mine. Yours may be better, but yeah, that one's a little messed up. I kind of got this figure just because I wanted a Sentinel Prime because he's the Prime that came before Optimus. So even if it's not like the G1 Sentinel Prime, it's still a Sentinel Prime figure. And it would fit better in my Classics/Generations collection than, say, the animated version. So that's why I got this figure. Most people probably won't want this figure unless you're either into a Sentinel Prime figure or you're into the IDW character. So as far as articulation goes, he has a pretty good amount. The head, without the pillars, does have a full range, a swivel, no ball jointiness really. But even with the pillars, the actual pillars are in this little piece that allows the whole thing to turn. You can still turn the head within the pillars. And you can get about that far, so enough that you can actually have his head look like it's turning to look at something, even with the pillars in the way. The shoulders do swivel and have outward movement for universal articulation. You do get a swivel and an elbow joint that goes 90 degrees. Wrists do not do anything. Nothing at the waist, unfortunately, due to how he transforms. The legs do have soft ratchets in them, and they go all the way out, and a little bit louder of a ratchet going forward. As you can see, his knee joint is kind of weak. Got a swivel, and you do got a knee going 90 degrees, but the hinges are a little weak. And you got ankle articulation. No pivot, but you do got forward and backward. So you can actually get him kind of like in a stepping pose. Or a staggered pose, I guess, whichever you prefer to call it. And it's enough that you can get him, like, doing something. I don't know what, his backpack keeps flaring out too, I don't know why. They really should have put something in there to clip it in place, because it keeps popping off on mine. Not popping off, but like popping backward. And you then of course have his weapons. You can peg those into his hands. I don't really care much for the chair guns that they're all coming with. And yeah, this is basically kind of what Astro Train's weapon looks like, so he just has Astro Train's weapon repainted. I don't really care much for these, just because they have a big gap in them when you don't have... Even if you have somebody sitting in them, it just looks ridiculous, like the Human Alliance figures did. And without anything, it just leaves big gappage, weird-looking gun. So for this one, I actually like to stack it on top of the smaller gun, but upside down, to where you can't see any of that, and just make him look like he has a big double blaster. And it does look nice in his hand. You can work it to get the other hand onto the peg, but it does leave for very, very limited posing. And of course, you can also store them on the back if you peg them in right here. On the other side of the cockpit there. You can actually have him put away his weapons, and he looks fine. So, that is Titan's Return Sentinel Prime. A pretty nice figure. Does have a couple of issues with the panels being really thin. Hopefully they'll fix that with Astro Train. But overall, I think he's a pretty nice figure. Like I said, it's probably only going to be for people who want either a Sentinel Prime figure or really like the IDW character. Or maybe just want to try out the Astro Train mold before Astro Train actually comes out. Oh, I think Astro Train is out by now, so maybe a little bit late for that, but the orange, yellow, the red, the white, or the gray does look good together, and it's a pretty nice color scheme, and he's a pretty cool figure. I think he's a lot of fun. So I'm Nerd Transformed. I hope you enjoyed this review, and I hope you have a nice day. Take care.